Mzuri, a village that seemed to breathe in rhythm with the sun, was a place where life unfolded in predictable patterns. The air, thick with the scent of sun-baked earth and the faint aroma of cooking fires, carried the echoes of daily life, the rhythmic pounding of millet, the bleating of goats, the laughter of children playing in the dusty square. At the heart of Mzuri stood the Baobab, a colossal tree, with a trunk so wide it seemed to encompass the very essence of the village. Its gnarled branches, stretching towards the sky like ancient arms, provided shade and a sense of enduring stability for the people of Mzuri. The Baobab was more than just a tree, it was a living testament to their history, a symbol of their resilience, and a silent observer of their lives. Jabari, a young man of striking features and a quiet intensity, was a respected member of Mzuri. His hands, calloused yet deft, possessed a rare talent for carving intricate masks. Each mask he created was a story etched in wood, a reflection of the spirits that whispered through the village. His workshop, a small sunlit space at the edge of his family's compound, was a sanctuary where he could lose himself in his craft. The scent of wood shavings and the soft rasp of his tools were his constant companions, and the masks that emerged from his hands were imbued with a life of their own. However, Jabari's life was not solely defined by his artistry. He was also a son, a member of a lineage that held significant standing in Mzuri. His father, Elder Tembo, was a man of considerable influence, his voice carrying weight in village councils and his opinions shaping community decisions. Elder Tembo was a staunch traditionalist, a guardian of the customs and values that had sustained Mzuri for generations. He believed in the importance of lineage, the sanctity of marriage, and the preservation of social order. For Elder Tembo, marriage was not merely a union of two individuals, it was a strategic alliance, a means of strengthening family ties and consolidating wealth. He had long envisioned a marriage for Jabari that would elevate their family's standing, a union that would bring prestige and prosperity, and he had found the perfect match, the daughter of Chief Zola. Chief Zola was a man of considerable wealth and influence, his herds of cattle stretching across the plains like a living tapestry. His daughter Amina was renowned for her beauty, her grace, and her poise. She was the epitome of what a Mzuri woman should be, accomplished in domestic arts, skilled in social graces, and possessing a quiet dignity. Elder Tembo saw in Amina a reflection of his own values, a woman who would uphold tradition and bring honor to their family. The arrangement was made, the terms were agreed upon, and the betrothal was announced. Jabari, though outwardly compliant, felt a deep unease. He respected his father and understood the importance of tradition, but he also yearned for a connection that went beyond social standing and material wealth. He longed for a partner who shared his passions, who understood his inner world, and who saw him for who he truly was. Amina, though undeniably beautiful and accomplished, seemed distant, her eyes reflecting a world of social expectations and carefully crafted appearances. Jabari found it difficult to connect with her, to bridge the gap between their carefully constructed personas. Their conversations were polite but superficial, their interactions marked by a formality that stifled any sense of genuine intimacy. Jabari's inner conflict grew. He felt trapped between his duty to his family and his yearning for a life of authenticity. He spent long hours in his workshop seeking solace in his craft, but even the masks seemed to reflect his inner turmoil. The spirits that once whispered stories of joy and wonder now spoke of duty, sacrifice, and the weight of tradition. The village of Mzuri, though seemingly harmonious, was a complex tapestry of social dynamics. Status and wealth were highly valued, and the intricate web of family ties and social obligations dictated the course of life. The elders, guardians of tradition, held considerable power, their decisions shaping the lives of the villagers. Conformity was prized, and deviation from the established norms was met with disapproval. For Jabari, the pressure to conform was immense. He was a respected member of the community, a son of a respected elder, and his actions were closely watched. Any sign of dissent or rebellion would not only bring shame upon his family but also disrupt the delicate balance of village life. The expectations placed upon him were not merely external, they were also internalized. He had grown up with the understanding that his life was not solely his own, that he had a responsibility to uphold the traditions and values of his lineage. The concept of personal choice, of pursuing one's own desires, was foreign to him, a luxury he could not afford. His unease was not a rebellion, but a quiet questioning, a subtle resistance to the forces that sought to shape his life. He found solace in the quiet moments, in the solitude of his workshop, in the silent communion with his masks. He sought refuge in the stories whispered by the wind, in the ancient wisdom embedded in the baobab's roots. He began to observe the world around him with a heightened awareness, noticing the subtle nuances of village life, the unspoken tensions, the hidden desires. He saw the beauty in the simplicity of their existence, but he also recognized the limitations imposed by tradition, the stifling of individuality, the suppression of dreams. He began to wonder if there was more to life than the prescribed paths, if there was a way to honor tradition while also embracing personal fulfillment. He questioned the notion that happiness could be found solely in material wealth and social status, wondering if there was a deeper meaning to life, a more authentic connection to the world. Jabari's internal conflict was not one of simple defiance, but rather a complex negotiation between duty and desire, tradition and individuality. He respected the values of his community, but he also yearned for a life that resonated with his own inner truth. He was caught between the world he knew and the world he longed to create, between the expectations of his lineage and the whispers of his heart. He felt the weight of generations pressing upon him, the unspoken expectations of his ancestors, the responsibility to uphold the legacy of his family, yet he also felt a growing sense of urgency, a desire to break free from the constraints of tradition, to forge his own path, to discover his own truth. Jabari's life in Mzuri was a microcosm of the human experience, a reflection of the universal struggle to reconcile individual desires with societal expectations. His story was not merely a tale of a young man trapped by tradition, but a metaphor for the human journey, the search for meaning, the quest for authenticity. The village of Mzuri, with its enduring traditions and its complex social dynamics, served as a backdrop for Jabari's internal conflict. The Baobab tree, a silent witness to his struggles, symbolized the enduring power of nature and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Jabari's journey was just beginning, and the choices he made would shape not only his own life, but also the destiny of Mzuri. The weight of his betrothal, the unspoken expectations of his father, and the growing sense of unease within him drove Jabari to seek solace in the quiet corners of Mzuri. He found himself drawn to the edge of the village, where the cultivated lands gave way to the untamed wilderness of the forests. This was a place shrouded in mystery, a realm whispered about in hushed tones, deemed forbidden by the elders. The Forbidden Forest was a world apart from the orderly rhythms of Mzuri. Here the air was thick with the scent of damp earth, decaying leaves, and the subtle fragrance of unknown blossoms. Sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor, creating an ethereal, almost otherworldly atmosphere. The sounds of the village, the bleating of goats, the pounding of millet, the laughter of children, faded away, replaced by the rustling of leaves, the chirping of insects, and the distant calls of unseen creatures. For the people of Mzuri, the forest was a place of both fear and reverence. It was believed to be inhabited by spirits, both benevolent and malevolent, and the elders warned against venturing too deep into its depths. The forest was considered the boundary between the known and the unknown, the civilized and the wild, and crossing that boundary was seen as a transgression against the established order. Yet for Jabari, the forest held a strange allure. It was a place where he could escape the confines of his prescribed life, a sanctuary where he could find respite from the pressures of tradition. He began to spend more and more time at the edge of the forest, drawn by an irresistible curiosity, a yearning to explore the mysteries that lay beyond the familiar boundaries of his village. One day, driven by an impulse he couldn't explain, Jabari ventured deeper into the forest than he ever had before. The dense undergrowth made his progress slow and arduous, and the silence was broken only by the occasional snap of a twig under his feet. He felt a sense of both excitement and trepidation, a feeling of venturing into uncharted territory. As he pushed his way through the thick foliage, he stumbled upon a hidden clearing, a small sunlit space that seemed to exist in a world of its own. In the center of the clearing stood a simple dwelling, a small hut woven from branches and leaves, its design blending seamlessly with the surrounding environment. And then he saw her. Mzuri. She was unlike anyone he had ever encountered in Mzuri. Her presence was as natural as the trees around her, her movements fluid and graceful, her eyes reflecting a deep connection to the earth. She wore simple garments woven from natural fibers, and her hair was adorned with wild flowers and feathers. Mzuri was Mjini, a stranger, a wanderer who had chosen to live in the seclusion of the Forbidden Forest. She was a woman of quiet strength, her demeanor marked by a sense of inner peace and a profound understanding of the natural world. Jabari was captivated. There was an aura of mystery surrounding her, a sense of ancient wisdom that emanated from her very being. He felt an immediate connection, a sense of recognition that transcended the boundaries of their different worlds. He approached her cautiously, his heart pounding in his chest. Mzuri greeted him with a gentle smile, her eyes filled with warmth and curiosity. She spoke in a soft, melodic voice, her words carrying a sense of calm and reassurance. Jabari learned that Mzuri had come to the forest seeking solitude, a place where she could live in harmony with nature, free from the constraints of societal expectations. She possessed a deep knowledge of the forest's secrets, understanding the healing properties of herbs, the rhythms of the seasons, and the language of the animals. He found himself drawn to her presence, spending his days in her company, learning about the subtle nuances of the forest, the hidden pathways, the secret springs. Mzuri shared her knowledge with him freely, her words imbued with a sense of wonder and reverence for the natural world. She taught him about the healing properties of the plants, how to identify the edible roots, and how to track the movements of the animals. She showed him the hidden springs, the places where the earth whispered secrets, and the ancient trees that held the memories of generations. Mzuri also shared tales of the spirits that inhabited the forest, the creatures that roamed its depths, and the ancient wisdom that had been passed down through generations. These stories were not mere entertainment, they were lessons, parables that revealed the interconnectedness of all living things, the delicate balance of nature, and the importance of respecting the earth. As Jabari spent more time with Mzuri, he began to see the world through her eyes. He learned to appreciate the subtle beauty of the forests, the intricate patterns of the leaves, the delicate dance of the butterflies, the silent strength of the trees. He began to understand the interconnectedness of all living things, the delicate balance of nature, and the importance of respecting the earth. He also began to question the values of his own society, the emphasis on material wealth, the rigid adherence to tradition, the suppression of individuality. He saw that Mzuri's life, though simple, was rich in meaning, filled with a sense of purpose and a deep connection to the world around her. Mzuri represented an alternative way of life, a path that valued inner peace, harmony with nature, and a genuine connection to the world. She embodied the qualities that Jabari had been yearning for: the authenticity, the wisdom, the inner strength that he had not found in his own society. The Forbidden Forest, once a place of fear and mystery, became a sanctuary for Jabari, a place where he could escape the pressures of his prescribed life and discover his own inner truth. Mzuri the Mjini, the stranger, became his guide, his mentor, his confidant. He began to see that the true value of life lay not in material possessions or social status, but in the connections we forge with the world around us, the relationships we build with others, and the inner peace we cultivate within ourselves. The encounter with Mzuri in the Forbidden Forest marked a turning point in Jabari's life. It was a moment of awakening, a realization that there was more to life than the paths prescribed by tradition. He had found a new perspective, a new understanding of the world, and a new sense of purpose. His journey had just begun, and the choices he made would shape not only his own life, but also the destiny of Mzuri. The Forbidden Forest, once a place of fear, had become a place of transformation, a place where Jabari discovered the true meaning of life. The sun, once a benevolent source of warmth and life, had become a relentless oppressor. Its scorching rays beat down upon Mzuri, turning the once fertile land into a parched wasteland. The vibrant green fields, once teeming with life, withered and turned to dust. The once lush pastures where cattle grazed peacefully became barren stretches of cracked earth. The rivers and streams, once flowing with life-giving water, dwindled to mere trickles, their beds cracked and dry. The drought had come upon Mzuri like a creeping shadow, slowly but inexorably draining the life from the land. At first, it was a subtle shift, a slight decrease in rainfall, a gradual drying of the soil, but as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the drought tightened its grip, its effects becoming more and more pronounced. The crops, once promising a bountiful harvest, withered and died, their leaves turning brown and brittle. The once plump fruits and vegetables shriveled and fell to the ground, their seeds unable to germinate in the parched earth. The granaries, once overflowing with the abundance of past harvests, began to dwindle, their stores slowly but surely diminishing. The cattle, the lifeblood of Mzuri, suffered the most. Their once sleek coats became dull and matted, their ribs visible beneath their thinning hides. They wandered listlessly across the parched plains, their mournful bellows echoing through the dry air. The once broad herds, symbols of wealth and prosperity, were now shadows of their former selves, their numbers dwindling with each passing day. The drought brought with it not only physical hardship but also a sense of growing unease. The villagers, accustomed to the predictable rhythms of nature, felt a deep sense of disquiet. The elders, guardians of tradition, consulted the ancestors seeking guidance and reassurance, but the spirits seemed silent, their whispers lost in the dry wind. The once vibrant village of Mzuri was now shrouded in a pall of despair. The laughter of children was replaced by the cries of hungry infants. The lively conversations in the marketplace were replaced by hushed whispers of worry and fear. The once harmonious community was now fractured by anxiety and uncertainty. The drought had exposed the fragility of Mzuri's prosperity, the precariousness of their existence. The wealth of Chief Zola, once seemingly boundless, was now threatened by the relentless forces of nature. His vast herds of cattle, once a source of pride and power, were now a liability, their survival dependent on the dwindling water supply. The drought had also revealed the limitations of tradition, the inadequacy of relying solely on the wisdom of the past. The elders, though respected for their knowledge and experience, were unable to provide solutions to the unprecedented challenges posed by the drought. Their rituals and ceremonies, once a source of comfort and reassurance, now seemed hollow and ineffective. The villagers, desperate for answers, turned to the Baobab, the ancient tree that had witnessed the rise and fall of countless generations. They offered prayers and sacrifices, seeking its protection and guidance. But the Baobab, though a symbol of resilience, was also a victim of the drought, its leaves wilting, its branches drooping, its life force slowly ebbing away. In the midst of this despair, a glimmer of hope emerged from an unexpected source. Mzuri the Mjini, the stranger who had chosen to live in the seclusion of the Forbidden Forest, possessed a deep knowledge of the natural world, a wisdom that had been passed down through generations of her people. She understood the subtle signs of the earth, the whispers of the wind, the language of the animals. Mzuri had observed the changing patterns of the weather, the subtle shifts in the behavior of the animals, the gradual drying of the land. She had sensed the coming drought long before it manifested in its full force, and she had prepared for it, gathering herbs and roots, storing water, and seeking out hidden springs. When the drought reached its peak and the villagers were on the verge of despair, Mzuri emerged from the forest, offering her knowledge and her resources. She led them to a hidden spring, a secret source of water that she had discovered deep within the forest. The spring, fed by underground streams, had remained untouched by the drought, its water clear and cool. The villagers, overjoyed at this unexpected discovery, flocked to the spring, their thirst quenched, their hopes renewed. Mzuri also shared her knowledge of the forest's secrets, teaching them how to identify edible roots and plants, how to find underground water sources, and how to conserve the precious water they had. Her wisdom, once dismissed as the ramblings of a stranger, was now recognized as a lifeline, a source of hope. In the midst of despair, the villagers who had once shunned her as an outsider now embraced her as a savior, their gratitude and respect evident in their eyes. Mzuri's knowledge was not merely practical, it was also spiritual. She understood the interconnectedness of all living things, the delicate balance of nature, and the importance of respecting the earth. She taught the villagers to see the drought not as a punishment from the spirits, but as a natural cycle, a reminder of their dependence on the land and their responsibility to care for it. She led them in ceremonies of gratitude, thanking the earth for its bounty and praying for the return of the rains. She taught them to listen to the whispers of the wind, to observe the behavior of the animals, to read the signs of the earth. She helped them to reconnect with the natural world, to rediscover their place in the grand scheme of things. Mzuri's presence in Mzuri was a catalyst for change, a challenge to the established order. She represented an alternative way of life, a path that valued wisdom, resilience, and a deep connection to the land. Her knowledge, once dismissed as the ramblings of a stranger, was now recognized as a source of strength, a beacon of hope in the midst of despair. The drought, though a time of hardship and suffering, also became a time of learning and growth. The villagers, forced to confront their limitations, began to question their traditions, their values, and their way of life. They began to see the world through new eyes, to appreciate the interconnectedness of all living things, and to recognize the importance of respecting the earth. Mzuri's wisdom, like the hidden spring she had revealed, was a gift, a source of life and renewal. It nourished not only their bodies, but also their spirits, helping them to rediscover their strength, their resilience, and their connection to the land. The drought, though a devastating event, also became an opportunity for transformation, a chance for the people of Mzuri to redefine their relationship with the natural world and to embrace a new way of life. Mzuri, the Mjini, the stranger, became their guide, their mentor, their savior. Her presence in Mzuri was a reminder that wisdom can come from unexpected sources, that strength can be found in vulnerability, and that hope can blossom even in the midst of despair. The drought, though a time of hardship, also became a time of awakening, a time for the people of Mzuri to rediscover their true selves and to embrace a new vision for the future. The parched earth of Mzuri, once a testament to the relentless drought, began to soften under the gentle ministrations of Mzuri's discovered spring. The villagers, their spirits lifted by the newfound water and the knowledge Mzuri shared, started to rebuild, to replant, to reimagine their lives. The cattle, though thin, began to regain their strength, their mournful bellows replaced by softer, more hopeful sounds. In the heart of this transformation, Elder Tembo, Jabari's father, found himself grappling with a profound realization. Elder Tembo, a man whose life had been anchored in the unwavering traditions of Mzuri, had witnessed the drought's devastation with a growing sense of unease. He had seen the failure of their established rituals, the inadequacy of their ancestral wisdom. In the face of an unprecedented crisis, he had watched as the villagers, his people, turned to Mzuri, the Mjini, the stranger, for salvation. The sight of his son Jabari spending his days with Mzuri in the forbidden forest, a place he himself had always considered dangerous and off-limits, had initially filled him with disapproval. He had seen it as a betrayal of their traditions, a reckless abandonment of the path he had so carefully laid out for Jabari. But as the drought deepened and as Mzuri's wisdom proved to be the village's salvation, Elder Tembo's perspective began to shift. He watched as Jabari, once a quiet, compliant son, transformed into a man of newfound confidence and purpose. He saw the genuine respect and admiration in Jabari's eyes when he spoke of Mzuri, a respect that transcended the superficiality of arranged alliances. He also witnessed the change in Chief Zola, the chief whose wealth and power had once been the envy of Mzuri, had been humbled by the drought. His vast herds of cattle, once symbols of his might, were now a burden, a reminder of the fragility of material possessions. Zola, stripped of his arrogance, had recognized the value of Mzuri's wisdom, acknowledging that true wealth lay not in cattle or titles, but in knowledge, resilience, and connection to the land. Elder Tembo began to understand that his own worldview, once so rigid and unwavering, had been limited by a narrow focus on tradition and material wealth. He had failed to see the true value of Mzuri's wisdom, dismissing her as an outsider, a threat to their established order. He had also failed to recognize the depth of Jabari's yearning for a life of authenticity, a life that resonated with his own inner truth. The drought had served as a harsh but necessary lesson, exposing the limitations of their traditional ways and highlighting the importance of adaptability and openness to new perspectives. It had shown him that true leadership lay not in clinging to the past, but in embracing change, in recognizing the value of diverse perspectives, and in prioritizing the well-being of the community. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the village square, Elder Tembo sought out Jabari. He found his son sitting beneath the Baobab tree, his gaze fixed on the distant hills. "Jabari," he said, his voice softer than Jabari had ever heard it, "I have something to say." Jabari turned to his father, his eyes filled with a mixture of surprise and curiosity. "I have been thinking," Elder Tembo continued, "about the choices I have made, about the path I have set for you. I have realized that I have been blinded by tradition, by a narrow focus on wealth and status. I have failed to see the true value of Mzuri's wisdom, the depth of your connection to her." Jabari listened intently, his heart pounding in his chest. He had never expected his father to acknowledge his mistakes, to question the traditions he had always upheld. "I have also realized," Elder Tembo continued, "that true happiness lies not in material possessions or social standing, but in genuine connection, in finding a partner who shares your values, who understands your heart. I have seen the way you look at Mzuri, the respect and admiration in your eyes. I have seen the change in you, the newfound confidence and purpose." He paused, his gaze fixed on the ground. "I have been wrong, Jabari. I have been wrong to choose a bride for you, to impose my own desires upon your life. I have been wrong to dismiss Mzuri as an outsider, to underestimate her wisdom." Jabari was speechless, his mind struggling to process his father's words. He had never imagined that Elder Tembo would admit his mistakes, that he would give him the freedom to choose his own path. "I give you my blessing, Jabari," Elder Tembo said, his voice filled with sincerity. "Choose your own path, follow your heart. If you wish to marry Mzuri, I will not stand in your way." A wave of relief washed over Jabari, a sense of liberation he had never experienced before. He felt a deep gratitude towards his father, a newfound respect for his willingness to change, to acknowledge his mistakes. "Thank you, Father," Jabari said, his voice choked with emotion. "Thank you for understanding." Elder Tembo smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. "You have shown me the way, Jabari. You and Mzuri have shown me that true wisdom lies not in clinging to the past, but in embracing the present, in recognizing the value of diverse perspectives, and in prioritizing the well-being of the community." The conversation between Jabari and his father marked a turning point in their relationship, a moment of reconciliation, a recognition of their shared humanity. It also marked a turning point in the village of Mzuri, a shift in their collective consciousness, a move towards a more enlightened perspective. Chief Zola too underwent a similar transformation. The drought had stripped him of his arrogance, forcing him to confront the limitations of his worldview. He had seen the fragility of his wealth, the inadequacy of his power in the face of nature's forces. He had also witnessed the resilience of the villagers, their ability to adapt and overcome adversity. He had recognized the true value of Mzuri's wisdom, acknowledging that her knowledge and her connection to the land were far more valuable than any material possession. He had apologized to the villagers for his arrogance, for his focus on wealth and status, for his neglect of their well-being. He had also expressed his gratitude to Mzuri, acknowledging her role in saving the village. He had recognized her as a leader, a source of wisdom and inspiration, a true asset to the community. The transformations of Elder Tembo and Chief Zola symbolized a shift in the village's collective consciousness, a move towards a more inclusive and enlightened perspective. The villagers, witnessing the changes in their leaders, began to question their own beliefs, their own values, their own way of life. They began to see the world through new eyes, to appreciate the interconnectedness of all living things, to recognize the importance of respecting the earth. They began to embrace diversity, to value wisdom, to prioritize the well-being of the community. The drought, though a time of hardship and suffering, had also become a time of learning and growth. The villagers had been forced to confront their limitations, to question their traditions, to redefine their relationship with the natural world. They had emerged from the crisis stronger, wiser, and more united. Mzuri, the Mjini, the stranger, had become their guide, their mentor, their savior. Her wisdom, once dismissed as the ramblings of an outsider, was now recognized as a source of strength, a beacon of hope in the midst of despair. The father's realization was not just a personal change, but a catalyst for the whole village. The seed of change was planted. The air in Mzuri, once thick with the dust of drought and the whispers of despair, now carried the sweet scent of newly sprouted vegetation and the hopeful hum of renewed life. The rains, finally returning, had washed away the parched landscape, revealing the resilience of the earth and the enduring spirit of its people. With the village slowly recovering under Mzuri's guidance and the shifting perspectives of the elders, Jabari felt a profound sense of liberation. His father's blessing had lifted the heavy burden of tradition, allowing him to finally embrace the love that had blossomed in his heart. However, Jabari knew that his journey was not complete. He needed to publicly acknowledge his love for Mzuri, to declare his commitment to her, and to solidify the transformation that had taken place within him. This was not merely a personal matter, it was a symbolic act, a testament to the village's evolving values, a declaration that love and wisdom could transcend the rigid boundaries of tradition. He decided to make his declaration during the village's annual harvest celebration, a time of gratitude and community, a moment when the entire village would be gathered under the watchful gaze of the Baobab tree. The harvest celebration had always been a time of joy, but this year, it carried a deeper significance. It was a celebration of survival, of resilience, of the unexpected wisdom that had emerged from the depths of despair. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden glow over Mzuri, the villagers gathered in the central square. They brought forth their offerings, baskets filled with newly harvested fruits and vegetables, clay pots brimming with fresh water, and handmade crafts that reflected the spirit of their community. The air was filled with the rhythmic beat of drums, the melodic strains of flutes, and the joyful chatter of children. Jabari, dressed in his finest attire, stood at the edge of the crowd, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and anticipation. He had spent the past few days preparing for this moment, carefully crafting his words, ensuring that they conveyed the depth of his feelings and the sincerity of his intentions. As the celebration reached its peak, Jabari stepped forward, his voice ringing out across the square, silencing the crowd. He began by acknowledging the hardships they had faced, the devastating drought that had tested their resilience, and the unexpected wisdom that had saved them. He spoke of Mzuri, the Mjini, the stranger who had emerged from the forbidden forest, bringing with her knowledge, compassion, and a deep connection to the earth. He praised her wisdom, her understanding of the natural world, her ability to find water in the midst of despair. He spoke of her kindness, her willingness to share her knowledge, her dedication to the well-being of the community. He emphasized that Mzuri was the reason that Mzuri was able to celebrate a harvest at all. Then, with a voice filled with emotion, Jabari declared his love for Mzuri. He spoke of her inner strength, her quiet dignity, her unwavering connection to the earth. He described the moment he first saw her in the hidden clearing, the sense of recognition that had washed over him, the feeling that he had finally found his true home. He spoke of the time they had spent together in the forbidden forest, learning about the healing properties of herbs, the rhythms of the seasons, the interconnectedness of all living things. He spoke of the stories she had shared, the ancient wisdom that had been passed down through generations, the lessons that had transformed his understanding of the world. He acknowledged that Mzuri was not from Mzuri, that she was a Mjini, a stranger, but he emphasized that she was also a part of them, a vital member of their community, a source of strength and inspiration. He declared that he loved her not for her origins, but for her character, her wisdom, her unwavering spirit. His words resonated with the villagers, touching their hearts, reaffirming their own experiences. They had witnessed Mzuri's wisdom firsthand, her ability to heal, her dedication to their well-being. They had seen the transformation in Jabari, the newfound confidence, the genuine love that shone in his eyes. After Jabari finished speaking, a hush fell over the crowd. Then, as if a dam had burst, the villagers erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the square. They had witnessed a moment of profound transformation, a public testament to the power of love and wisdom. Chief Zola, his face filled with genuine joy, stepped forward and embraced Jabari. He acknowledged the depth of his love for Mzuri, his commitment to her, his willingness to challenge tradition. He declared that Jabari and Mzuri's love story was a testament to the changing heart of Mzuri. Elder Tembo, his eyes filled with pride, joined Chief Zola in embracing Jabari. He reaffirmed his blessing, his support for Jabari's choice, his belief in the power of love to transcend tradition. He acknowledged that he had been wrong to impose his own desires upon his son, that he had learned the true meaning of wisdom from both Mzuri and Jabari. Then, Jabari turned to Mzuri, who stood at the edge of the crowd, her eyes filled with tears of joy. He took her hand, his touch gentle yet firm, and led her to the center of the square. He knelt before her, his gaze filled with adoration, and asked her to be his wife. Mzuri, her heart overflowing with love, nodded her assent, her tears now flowing freely. The crowd erupted in cheers once more, their voices filled with joy and celebration. They had witnessed a moment of pure love, a union that transcended social boundaries, a testament to the evolving values of their community. The celebration continued late into the night, the air filled with the sounds of music, laughter, and the joyous chatter of the villagers. They danced under the light of the moon, their movements a reflection of their newfound hope, their renewed sense of community. Jabari and Mzuri, hand in hand, joined the celebration, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. They had found love in the midst of hardship, wisdom in the face of despair, and a community that embraced their union. However, one person did not join the celebration. Amina, Chief Zola's daughter, who was supposed to be Jabari's wife, watched from the edge of the crowd. She had seen Jabari's declaration, heard his words of love for Mzuri, and witnessed the outpouring of support from the villagers. Amina had always considered herself Jabari's rightful bride, the woman chosen by tradition, the woman destined to bring wealth and status to his family. She had never considered the possibility that Jabari would choose another, that he would defy tradition, that he would find love in the arms of Mjini. She felt a mixture of anger, humiliation, and disbelief. She had been rejected, not for another woman of her own standing, but for a stranger, a wanderer, a woman who had emerged from the forbidden forest. Amina's anger grew as she watched the villagers celebrate Jabari and Mzuri's union. She felt betrayed, not only by Jabari, but also by her own father, who had embraced Mzuri, who had acknowledged her wisdom, who had allowed his daughter to be replaced by a stranger. Amina left the celebration, her heart filled with bitterness and resentment. She felt alone, abandoned, rejected by the very community she had always considered her own. Jabari's declaration was more than just a personal expression of love, it was a public testament to the transformation that had taken place in Mzuri. It was a declaration that love could transcend tradition, that wisdom could emerge from unexpected sources, that community could embrace diversity. It was a moment that marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of Mzuri, a chapter defined by love, wisdom, and a profound connection to the earth. The echoes of Jabari's heartfelt declaration still lingered in the air of Mzuri, a testament to the transformative power of love and acceptance. The village, having witnessed the blossoming romance between Jabari and Mzuri, now prepared for a celebration that would symbolize not just a union of two souls, but a union of tradition and change, of old wisdom and new perspectives. The wedding under the Baobab tree was to be a celebration of unity, a reaffirmation of the community's evolving values. The preparations for the wedding were a communal effort, a testament to the newfound spirit of cooperation and shared purpose that had emerged from the challenges of the drought. The villagers, young and old, contributed their skills and resources, each eager to play a part in the joyous occasion. The women, with their deft hands and creative spirits, wove vibrant fabrics, crafted intricate decorations, and prepared a feast that would tantalize the senses. The men, with their strength and skill, constructed a ceremonial platform beneath the sprawling branches of the Baobab, ensuring that the ancient tree, a silent witness to their history, would preside over the union. The atmosphere in Mzuri was one of palpable excitement and anticipation. The air hummed with the sounds of laughter, the rhythmic beat of drums, and the melodic strains of traditional songs. The village square, usually a place of quiet activity, was now transformed into a bustling hub of creativity and celebration. Mzuri, who had once been a solitary figure, an outsider living in the seclusion of the forbidden forest, was now embraced as a beloved member of the community. The women of Mzuri, eager to share their knowledge and traditions, taught her the intricacies of their crafts, the secrets of their culinary arts, and the rituals of their ceremonies. Mzuri, with her quiet grace and genuine warmth, readily absorbed their teachings, her heart filled with gratitude for their acceptance. Jabari too was immersed in the preparations, his hands busy crafting intricate masks that would symbolize the union of their spirits. He worked with a renewed sense of purpose, his heart overflowing with love and gratitude. He saw the wedding as an opportunity to express his appreciation for the community's support, to reaffirm his commitment to Mzuri, and to celebrate the transformation that had taken place within him. The day of the wedding arrived, bathed in the golden light of the morning sun. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and the fragrant aroma of roasting meats. The villagers, dressed in their finest attire, gathered beneath the Baobab tree, their faces radiant with joy and anticipation. Mzuri, adorned in a simple yet elegant white garment woven from natural fibers, looked radiant, her hair adorned with wildflowers and feathers cascaded down her back, framing her gentle features. She walked towards the ceremonial platform, her steps light and graceful, her eyes filled with love and anticipation. Jabari, dressed in a traditional garment adorned with intricate carvings, stood waiting for her, his heart pounding in his chest. He watched as Mzuri approached, her beauty and grace filling him with a sense of awe and wonder. The ceremony began with a procession of elders, their voices resonating with the wisdom of generations. They spoke of the importance of unity, the sanctity of marriage, and the enduring power of love. They invoked the spirits of their ancestors, seeking their blessings for the union of Jabari and Mzuri. Then Jabari and Mzuri exchanged their vows, their voices filled with sincerity and emotion. They spoke of their love, their respect, and their commitment to each other. They pledged to build a life together, a life filled with love, wisdom, and a deep connection to the earth. As they exchanged their vows, the villagers erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the square. They had witnessed a moment of profound love, a union that transcended social boundaries, a testament to the evolving values of their community. The ceremony continued with traditional rituals, each symbolizing a different aspect of their union. They shared a ceremonial drink signifying the blending of their spirits. They exchanged gifts symbolizing their commitment to providing for each other. They participated in a ritual dance symbolizing the harmony of their union. As the sun began its descent, casting a warm glow over the celebration, the villagers gathered around the ceremonial platform, their faces filled with joy and gratitude. They had witnessed a moment of profound unity, a celebration that reaffirmed their shared values and their commitment to building a better future. The wedding feast began, a vibrant display of culinary artistry. The villagers shared stories, laughter, and songs, their voices echoing through the night. They celebrated the union of Jabari and Mzuri, the transformation of Mzuri, and the enduring power of love. As the celebration reached its peak, Jabari and Mzuri stood hand in hand, their hearts overflowing with love and gratitude. They had found love in the midst of hardship, wisdom in the face of despair, and a community that embraced their union. The wedding under the Baobab tree was more than just a celebration of love. It was a symbol of renewal, a testament to the transformative power of unity and acceptance. It was a moment that marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of Mzuri, a chapter defined by love, wisdom, and a profound connection to the earth. The Baobab tree, a silent witness to their history, stood tall and proud, its branches reaching towards the sky, its roots firmly grounded in the earth. It symbolized the enduring strength of their community, the resilience of their spirit, and the enduring power of love. The celebration continued late into the night, the air filled with the sounds of music, laughter, and the joyous chatter of the villagers. They danced under the light of the moon, their movements a reflection of their newfound hope, their renewed sense of community. As the night drew to a close, Jabari and Mzuri walked hand in hand, their hearts filled with peace and contentment. They had found their home, their love, their purpose in the heart of Mzuri, under the watchful gaze of the Baobab tree. The wedding was a turning point. It unified the village and cemented Mzuri's place within it. It showed that change could be good. The echoes of the wedding celebration faded into the rhythm of daily life in Mzuri, yet the spirit of unity and transformation that had blossomed under the Baobab tree continued to flourish. The village, once bound by rigid traditions and hierarchical structures, had undergone a profound metamorphosis, embracing a more inclusive and enlightened way of life. The drought, though a time of immense hardship, had served as a catalyst for change, forcing the villagers to confront their limitations and re-evaluate their values. Mzuri's wisdom, once dismissed as the ramblings of a stranger, had become a guiding light, illuminating a path towards a more harmonious relationship with the natural world. Jabari and Mzuri, now united in marriage, became symbols of this transformation, their love story a testament to the power of genuine connection to transcend societal boundaries. They established their home near the edge of the Forbidden Forest, a place that had once been shrouded in mystery but now represented a bridge between the village and the wilderness. Mzuri continued to share her knowledge of the forest's secrets, teaching the villagers how to cultivate herbs, conserve water, and respect the delicate balance of nature. She established a small garden near their home, a place where villagers could learn about the healing properties of plants and the importance of sustainable living. Jabari, inspired by Mzuri's wisdom, began to incorporate natural elements into his mask carving, creating works of art that reflected the interconnectedness of all living things. His masks, once symbols of tradition, now became expressions of a deeper understanding of the world, imbued with a sense of reverence for nature and a celebration of diversity. Elder Tembo, having witnessed the transformative power of Mzuri's wisdom and Jabari's love, became a staunch advocate for change. He actively promoted the integration of traditional knowledge with new perspectives, encouraging the villagers to embrace innovation while preserving their cultural heritage. He worked alongside Chief Zola to ensure that the village's leadership reflected the values of inclusivity and collaboration. Chief Zola, humbled by his experiences during the drought, dedicated himself to serving the community, prioritizing the well-being of his people over the accumulation of wealth. He established a system of resource sharing, ensuring that all villagers had access to the necessities of life, regardless of their social standing. He also actively worked to heal the rift with his daughter Amina. Amina, though initially filled with resentment and bitterness, eventually came to understand the transformative power of Mzuri's wisdom and Jabari's love. She witnessed the positive changes that had taken place in Mzuri, the newfound sense of unity and purpose, and the genuine happiness that radiated from Jabari and Mzuri. She realized that her anger had stemmed from a sense of insecurity and a fear of change. She had clung to tradition not out of a genuine belief in its value but out of a fear of the unknown. She acknowledged her mistakes and sought forgiveness from Jabari, Mzuri, and her father. The village of Mzuri, guided by the wisdom of Mzuri and the compassion of Jabari, flourished. The once rigid social structure softened, replaced by a spirit of collaboration and shared responsibility. The villagers, empowered by their newfound sense of unity, worked together to build a sustainable and prosperous community. They developed innovative farming techniques, utilizing Mzuri's knowledge of the forest to create fertile gardens that thrived even in times of drought. They established a system of water conservation, ensuring that the precious resource was used wisely and equitably. They created a vibrant marketplace where villagers could trade their goods and share their skills. The Baobab tree, a silent witness to their history, stood tall and proud, its branches reaching towards the sky, its roots firmly grounded in the earth. It symbolized the enduring strength of their community, the resilience of their spirit, and the enduring power of love. Generations passed, and the story of Jabari and Mzuri became a legend, a testament to the transformative power of love and wisdom. The villagers of Mzuri, guided by their legacy, continued to embrace change while preserving their cultural heritage. They lived in harmony with the natural world, respecting the delicate balance of life and celebrating the diversity of their community. The village of Mzuri became a beacon of hope, a symbol of what could be achieved when a community embraces inclusivity, collaboration, and a deep connection to the earth. Their story spread far and wide, inspiring other villages to challenge their traditions, to embrace change, and to build a more just and sustainable world. The transformation of Mzuri was not merely a change in their social structures or economic practices, it was a profound shift in their collective consciousness. They had learned to value wisdom over wealth, compassion over power, and unity over division. They had discovered the true meaning of community, the enduring power of love, and the profound connection between humanity and the earth. Their legacy lived on not in grand monuments or material possessions, but in the hearts of their people, in the spirit of their community, and in the enduring wisdom of their story. The transformation of Mzuri was a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, hope, love, and wisdom can prevail. And so the tale of the Baobab's gift became a timeless story, forever woven into the fabric of Mzuri, a reminder that true transformation begins with a change of heart, a willingness to embrace the unexpected, and a deep reverence for the interconnectedness of all living things.